to Real and Raw. Today is March 4th, and we're going to march forth with our pumpkins that we had processed, I think it was last month. We've already gotten through some of our previous years, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to make a pumpkin bundt cake. And I've got my fresh eggs that you had seen on a previous video from Melvin, where we get our eggs from. And these chickens are laying so many more eggs as we move on through the year. So he said there's even going to be more. So join me today. We're going to use the AKARSRUM that I showed you on another video to go ahead and get our bundt cake started. But first, let me show you just how much we yielded from the roasted pumpkin purees that Andy was making last month. Okay, take a look. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 at about 2 cups each. So we've got 16 cups of pumpkin puree from January with the pumpkins that we had bought at that farmer's market. So today what I'm going to do is I went ahead and I thawed the package that we had, and 2 cups is what I'm going to need, which is what, 16 ounces I believe, and that's going to be perfect, just exactly what I need for my bundt cake. So what we've been doing over the last month is just getting through our harvest from last year as well as previous years. So Andy has already been making bone broth. This is going on probably about 36 hours. No, I think it's only 48 hours. We buy like a couple of extra turkeys around Thanksgiving because they're so inexpensive at the store. So we just went ahead and started getting our bone broth started for some turkey broth. So that is sitting in the background. You might hear it kind of like sizzling a little bit, and we might do a video later on making that bone broth. But today what we're going to do is the pumpkin bundt cake. So what I have been doing is I have been thawing my pumpkin puree. This is what we have left over from 2023's harvest. So we have already moved through probably about 1.5 years of our pumpkin purees that we had in the freezer. But for today, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use this. It's nice and soft. It's been thawing. I put it in some hot water and then I just stuck it in the fridge until I needed it. So that's what you want to do after you freeze your pumpkin purees. Just go ahead and put it in some hot water and kind of just let that sit maybe in like a bowl that I have here, or you can just put it in the fridge and let it thaw overnight. So that's up to you. So we've got 2 cups here, which is 16 ounces, and our recipe only calls for 15 ounces. Now this here is a store-bought can of pumpkin. I usually use 2 of these around Thanksgiving and make my pies, but I haven't done it in probably about 3 years now. They've all been homemade, fresh pumpkins that we've pureed. And so this I keep on the shelf because you never know when you don't have your pumpkin and you can go to the store and grab it. But just be mindful of the ingredients and what you're buying at the store. You really want to get as many fresh things as you can. And it's really not that difficult like we showed you on the previous video. So I am excited to use my AKARSRUM, which I'll show you in a minute. And I'll show you how to use the mixer aspect of it. Before on our video, we used the bread paddle. This also acts as a mixer. So I'm very excited. Okay, first what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the AKARSRUM in a minute, but I'm going to get my oven preheated to 350. Okay, so if you remember, this stainless steel bowl here acts as the bowl for making the bread. And I had my bread paddle on there, and then I have my scraper in here. So I've taken that out, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to remove this bowl. And what it comes with is an attachment to hold a mixing bowl. And like I just showed you, this fits nicely in the stainless steel bowl for, putting it away for later use. So what you're going to do is you're just simply going to take your mixing paddles, and they just, and this here, This is just kind of like a cog, and that just fits in there. And you're going to go ahead and put your mixing paddles, oh, that cog was in the way. So that's nicely in there. And then this is just simply going to fit over that once I have my bowl on there. So now I place my mixing bowl. I'm going to give it a little bit of a turn to kind of snap it in place. And then I just simply stick that on there. See how that goes around. So we're going to go ahead and get our ingredients added in. So before we get started, now that I'm using fresh eggs, just a little hint. What you want to do is you want to look for your eggs to make sure that they are good to use by ensuring that they are at the bottom and they're not floating. So I don't know if you can see that. I think you can. But these eggs have now been tested and I can go ahead and proceed. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add my dry ingredients first into a separate bowl, and I'm going to whisk them together. First, we need 2 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour. Two teaspoons of baking soda. 2. Half a teaspoon of salt. I've got my Redmond's real salt. 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon. 1, 2. You can use ground ginger, ground cloves, ground nutmeg, and ground allspice, a half a teaspoon each of those. Or you can use 2 teaspoons of pumpkin pie spice, and that's what I'm going to do. 1, 2. Okay, now what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and dry ingredients together. Okay, and now we're going to go ahead and we're going to set that aside. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put my wet ingredients in my bowl on the AKARSRUM. So first I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add in 1 cup of vegetable oil. 1 cup of vegetable oil. The other thing I like to do is go ahead and crack my eggs right in together. Crack them in there. Okay, so you can see how clear they are. Sometimes there'll be a little bit of a red spot on there, and that is normal, but I just like to take a look at my eggs. And I'm not doing this as detailed when I'm just putting them on the pan, because I'm just eyeing them at that point. And then I just give my eggs a quick wash before I use them that day on the pan. I don't wash them when I get them home. So that's just my preference. But do your own research on how you want to do that. But I'm just going to go ahead and now that I've cracked them separately, I'm going to add my 4 eggs. And while I'm adding things, you're going to hear the mixer in the background. Because this just says to whisk it, and that's all I'm going to do is just put it on a little light. So I have it on the lowest speed for a little bit of a whisking while I'm adding my wet ingredients. Okay, so I'm going to move through the wet ingredients, and it needs 1 cup of light or brown sugar. I happen to have light. And then I'm going to add 3/4 cup of, I use a cane sugar. These are okay, now it's time to add my pumpkin, and it calls for, and this recipe specifically is for pumpkin puree, not canned pumpkin. But it asks for 15 ounces, and I've got 2 cups here, which is 16 ounces, so I'm just going to add the whole thing. So this recipe also calls for 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. And I just wanted to show you this. We made this in November. This is our vanilla extract, and I haven't even opened it. It's not going to be ready until April. I wish I could use it. Oh my God, that smells so good. Wow. Huh. Well, I'm not supposed to use it, so I'm not going to, but that smells wonderful. What I am going to use, and I think I talked to you previously about this, is my Azure organic pure vanilla extract. It smells good, but I'll tell you, ours smells amazing. So I'm very excited about that. We gave those away for Christmas gifts this year, so that was really fun. Okay, and this calls for 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. So now what I'm going to do while that's mixing up is, normally it wants you to add the wet ingredients to the dry ingredients. And I could do that, but I want to use the mixer as well. So I really don't think that matters. And I'll let you know once I taste this, because I've never made this pumpkin bundt cake before. So I'm just simply going to go ahead and add in my dry ingredients. Okay, so that is all mixed up, and now what I want to do is I'm going to remove the mixing paddles. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to prepare my bundt cake pan with some pan cooking spray. This is actually, I get this at Aldi's, and it is a butter flavored spray. I'm not sure if this is the best thing to use, but that's what I'm using today. So let me know if there's anything that's a better product to use when you're preparing your pans. Now that I have my bundt cake pan prepared, I'm simply going to just go ahead and pour this in there, and it should make about 5 cups of your liquid, your final batter. I've had this bundt cake pan for a long time, and I just love the fact that it's easy to clean up. So this is by Wilton. Hopefully it's the right material, but I'm going to go ahead and get this added and get it in the oven. Okay, there it is. I'm going to get it in the oven at temperature of 350, and it is going to bake for about 55 to 70 minutes. 60 minutes. And we'll check it and come back and show you where we're at.